All right, welcome in. It is time for Total Bases. Two-man show today. Tokyo Brandon is fighting that Tokyo traffic right now. So he's going to miss. Well, he will be back tomorrow. He just sent Brian and I a picture of his dinner. It looked incredible. I feel like that's just like out here, that would be like fine dining. I think that's just like a standard meal out there, whatever he was eating. Looked amazing. We'll miss him today, but he will be back tomorrow. Brian, my night did not go well. I had one play. It was my 5% play. It was the wrong side. I got everything I wanted in that game, from Jackson Kent pitching well to start to the relievers I wanted. And you know what? Sometimes the other team is just better. And in this case, Alex Bregman was just better. 3 homers, single-handedly killed any chance I had to win that bet. Been a frustrating 2 weeks for me, in a little bit of a drawdown, but today is the day we're going to turn it around. How about you?
Well, first of all, he was eating eel, so I don't know if I've never had eel, so I
looked
can't
amazing.
say. Well,
looked incredible.
Yeah, lots of things look good, and I don't want to eat them. But deer are pretty, but I don't like venison. So anyway, yeah, I don't know if it was because of the traffic or because he ate eel, but anyway, TB's not here today, and I wish I wasn't here yesterday, because everything is, as TB would say, everything I touch turned to shit. Is I had a 4% on Boston. They lose the game by 2, and had a couple 2% totals, and they were completely off. It was just one of those days that I obviously did a bad job of handicapping, and it's going to happen. Been a terrific couple of months here. And so I'm going to be a little bit more specific today. I'm probably not going to have a 4% or anything, because I did lose yesterday. But I'm going to try to give you the best plays that I can give you on this show. And if I have anything that I'm selling, it may be some of the plays that we're looking at on today's card. So nothing big for me. I don't want to. The worst thing you want to do is, if you have a losing day, is in like trying to double it up and get it all back quick. This is a grind. And as I said, we've been doing this for 45 years.
Yeah, listen, that's a good way to start the show. We'll get into the picks, but like someone was, kind of messaging me like, well, we gotta get it back. And it's like, I'm still up like 22 units on the baseball season. And so what I explained to this person was like, it's the wrong mentality, right? Like you're almost like your high water mark of the year. Very rarely, sometimes it works out where like you finish at the high point of your year, but that's not always the case. And so it's like, you have to look at it as 3 really good months built up some, you built up some goodwill to be able to struggle for a couple weeks and not kill you. And then again, it's just as we've said on the show, the mentality's got to be new day, 0-0. Let's win the day. And then it all takes care of itself. If you want to know what eel for lunch looks like, TB posted it on his Twitter, and I just retweeted it. Brian, how do you look at that? I mean, that looks amazing. Except for the live eel in the case. I could have done without the live eel picture.
Oh, I didn't see that. I will say, if you didn't tell me it was eel, maybe it's it reminds me of worms, snake. I couldn't eat a snake either. I don't know. I haven't had alligator though, but whatever. That's a different kind of they eat better over there than we do, so they probably know. I mean, they're a lot more healthier than we are in the United States. I'll tell you that for sure.
Well, let's get to the plays today. TV was coming back from the middle of nowhere of Japan. We're going to go out to the middle of nowhere for this first game. Dyersville, Iowa is the exact location for Phillies Twins tonight. If you want to find this game, it's over on Netflix, which I'm actually excited for. I just from like a fan perspective, I think Netflix has done a pretty good job with some of the stuff they've gotten to Major League Baseball. They had that opening game of the year was on Netflix, the Yankees Giants, man, way back when, back in March. Believe the Home Run Derby, if I remember correctly, was Netflix. I think the All-Star game might have been as well. But then you got tonight's game. That's where you're going to find this one. So national TV, it's Phillies and Twins. It's a neutral field. So this is like one of the rare occurrences in the regular season where we don't have a home team. I guess regionally speaking, you could call the Twins the home team, but I don't know if I give them any home field advantage here. I watched the minor league game on this field the other night, Brian. St. Paul Saints against the Iowa Cubs felt like it played like a normal ballpark. They haven't played here in like 4 years. I think the last time they did Field of Dreams was 3 or 4 years ago. And the reason is they were doing some more construction. I think they want to make this more of a thing, and they were probably, upping it more to like a big league caliber facility, for lack of a better term. So neutral field, Phillies Twins, looks like Aaron Nola and Taj Bradley. How do you start the handicap for this one?
Yeah, if I was TB, I'd say too many variables, don't play it. But there has been a couple games played there. One game went over, one game went under. It's actually not the same field as they used in the movie. It's right next to it, I guess, is where they built it. But still, it's nice. I like one of my favorite all-time movies.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It's just not because it's baseball. I just thought, when he plays catch with his dad, and I talked about this in a bar one time, and I'm tearing up even saying it. And the guy walks past us in the bar, and he goes, "Field of Dreams, right?" And I go, "Yeah." I mean, every guy I knew was bawling, and every all their wives were like, "What's the big deal?" If you ever played catch with your dad, and he's no longer there, you would remember that. But the wind is blowing in 8 miles an hour. So I don't know if that has much of an effect. It's not walls there, so maybe we'll have more of a differential in that regard. You don't have the big walls on the outside to contain it. But yeah, Nolan against Bradley. I prefer Minnesota, and I prefer Bradley in the game. They're basically pick them right now with a total of 8.5 to the over. Minnesota's the team that Philadelphia plays in a lot of big games. They're a very popular team, but Minnesota doesn't get a lot of chances to play in something like this. So it'll be exciting for them. It's exciting for both teams, but I prefer Bradley over Nola here. And the Minnesota Twins, decent hitting team. Minnesota's been a lot better this year than I thought they were going to be. Philadelphia has been extremely streaky, and I don't know if I want them here. I'm not going to get involved in this game, but I have a little bit of rooting interest here on Minnesota, and it'll be an interesting game. I'll probably watch it, but probably won't get involved from a betting standpoint.
So, I was going back. I kind of had the Tuesday's game on in the background, and so as the gameplay itself did not, the game, like I think of the game you went to earlier the year when the Brewers and A's played that first game in Vegas. And it was just like very clear that, like the ballpark that they were in was probably not someplace a big league game should be played. And if you remember back, I believe the first time they did this was Yankees White Sox back in 2021. And the ball was flying out. It was like home run, actually tremendous game. I very rarely can I remember specifically a regular season game, but that was Aaron Judge taking the lead with a homer in the top of the ninth, and then Tim Anderson walking it off into the corn in the bottom of the ninth for like a set. Like there was like 17 runs in the game. Pulling up the minor league game from the other night, there was actually 6 home runs. It was like it was a 6-3 final, but every run for the most part was scored via like the solo homer. So the Iowa Cubs hit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 home runs, and St. Paul hit 1. So that's interesting to me. I mean, 6, because that's minor league teams. Look at some of the names going deep in those. It's not like I think Greg Jones hit 2 homers, right? Not we're not looking at like power hitters right here, really. So the fact that maybe the ball was jumping a little bit, and that's something that I'll go back and look at over the course of the day. Aaron Nola is a guy that is not, he's not immune to giving up the long ball here. Taj Bradley, when, I've said about him for years, when he's good, he can be very good, but he'll miss up. I think that's, I'm going off of memory here, but I feel like when Bradley gets beat, it's usually because he leaves the ball up. I have to pull his spray chart up, but that's just something I, kind of remember from us talking about him in past starts. Maybe 8.5 is a little low. Maybe 8.5 is a little low and overs the play. I don't really know. I don't know if I trust. I'm at 8.7 here on the total, but then again, this is a one-off game. Like, I don't know if I trust my score projection for that. But my gut says if there was 6 bombs on Tuesday, and now we've got some big leaguers, and especially some, some guys, Schwarber, Harper, there's some home run pop in both these lineups. I think I'm going to lean toward the over here. 8.5 feels like it's a tad low, especially given the 2 pitchers.
Well, you do have big league hitters. You also have big league pitchers, though. And these are 2 guys that have had success in the majors. Not lately for Nola, but I believe that second game, I believe it was a 4-2 game. I don't remember. I can't remember games that were played years ago. Don't know. Just because one is high and one is low doesn't mean a whole lot. If you only have 5 hits in a game and they're all home runs, it's going to look a lot better than it is. But we'll see. For what I understand, it's a pretty deep, somewhat deep park, like in center field, 400 feet or something. So we'll have to see. But I won't be getting involved.
Yeah, and I was correct about. So Bradley is like it kind of extreme in terms of like pitches up in the zone. Almost everything. If you look at like where most of his pitches land, the majority of them are up. He likes to pitch up. He likes to throw that fastball. He throws that fastball about 50% of the time, and it mostly is up. So he gives up a lot of fly balls. And if he's gonna get beat, it's likely because he didn't get it up far enough, and it got hit out of the ballpark. So that's something to keep an eye on. Again, not a super strong opinion. Like Brian, we play one game every couple of years in a cornfield in Iowa. Not a ton to go off of. Tough to figure it out, but I will just note that the ball. 6 bombs in the game 2 nights ago, at least is something to acknowledge. All right, let's get back to reality here. Normal games at normal home fields. Brian, we got a day game. It's your Cleveland Guardians. Jeremiah, listen, if I have a 4%, if I will tell you what I'm looking at today, like Brian, I haven't bet anything yet. But I'm probably going to give whatever baseball I bet today out for free anyway. So stay tuned. But we're going to talk about your Guardians. Let's head to Detroit. Big game in the AL Central. It looks like we got Parker Messick, Kiner Montero, Guardians, Tigers. How do you see this one?
Yeah, this one's going to be my part of the parlay today, and we're getting to it early. The first 2 games of the series each scored 10 runs. Detroit's a good pitching ballpark. Cleveland's hitting, even though they made those changes at the break, they're not. I still don't consider them one of the better hitting teams. Detroit, obviously, they had one of their players get hurt, one of their big power bats yesterday get hurt in Green. So I don't know if Green's going to be playing here. And I kind of like the under, but one thing's going to probably keep me off the under in the game is yesterday the Cleveland bullpen had some usage, and their best pitcher had to throw like 35 pitches in order to get that save. So I'm going to look at the first half here. And the first half in this game, we can get, it's basically Cleveland's about a 145 favorite. Totals 4.5 under 35 or 4 over in something like that, in that range, 25 to 30. I like to get, I know we normally play with the extra half run and we lay it. I'd rather get the chances of us winning is lesser because it's going to be on an even number, but I would rather get the plus money back. You can get, upwards of plus 110 back here if you're playing the under 4. The worst you're going to do is plus 100, anywhere from plus 100 to plus 110. I'm going to play this under 4 because I don't think they're going to get to 5, which means I don't think we're going to lose. The less chance we may push with a 4, but that's okay. I don't want to be laying 135, 140 or whatever for it to go under the 4.5. So I'll save that. I'll save 35 cents here and possibly more by playing the under 4. Messick's a guy. He's the lefty. He's a guy that's done very well all season long, very consistent. And Montero's also a guy that has pitched much better than we thought for these 2 teams. Both pitchers have faced the opposition one time this year, and the hitters hit them pretty well. I believe they each went like 4 or 5 innings, give up like 2 or 3 runs, something to that effect. So I think I like the pitchers better here than I do the offenses. I think they come out today, especially after two are high scoring games the last 2 days. I'm going to play this game under 4 at plus 100.
Yeah. I don't have either team projected to score more than 4 runs. So even though my overall projection comes out somewhat close to it's like a shade under 8, and I believe that's what we're looking at for a full game total here is under 8. I don't have either team projected to score 4 runs. Green being out is definitely notable. Also, the fact that the guys that are there's a little bit of a positional crunch for the Tigers where I think it would make the most sense to have Max Anderson in the lot, he's just been raking at Toledo. He's been awesome, but the infield is not the positions they need to fill. They have more room in the outfield. Obviously, you look around the infield, you already have Gleyber he was DHing last night. You've got McGonigal's going to lock down one of those spots. Baez is back. So it's the position that they need to fill is an outfield position. So you end up with last night, I think it was Malgary out there. He's been okay. They called up. So it looks like they're going to give Corey Julks a chance. That's what I'm saying. If in a perfect world, it's probably Max Anderson who's been much more productive for Toledo this year. But I think that's it's going to be Julks or Outman out there in the 9 hole. So again, you're splitting hairs probably, but it's we're talking about the under, trying to find a little hidden value here. I think if Montero pitches good here, it's this is a low scoring game. He's a little bit of he's gotten blown up a couple times recently, but if you look at what he's done all year, he's really been very solid for them. And I think the Tigers, if they wanted to, can go to the bullpen earlier here if they really, we know AJ Hinch is no stranger to doing that. So yeah, I'm with you. I think under is the way to play this one.
Yeah, if you mentioned the lefty righty, yesterday they faced a lefty, and you had Yao Lee, Corey Julks, and Ben Malgary playing instead of batters like a Cole Keith. So it's they're lesser known batters against lefties and guys that I really don't trust, that have never really panned out in the major leagues. But anything can happen in a game, and we'll have to see how it goes. But yeah, I prefer the starting pitchers in this game. I think they're going to have a really nice game here.
Yeah, and Framber went deep enough yesterday. They really didn't. Tigers really didn't use anyone of note from the bullpen yesterday. So yeah, with Kiter and all the big dogs in the bullpen, and the fact that we're getting it's August 13th, right? We're starting to get to the point where these any of these teams can win this division, and so a divisional game to win a series against one of your divisional counterparts. Definitely a little bit of a playoff feel. And if Hinch manages it like that and he's willing to go to the pen early, I think you see that 3-2 tight ball game. So yeah, under 8. Good. I like this either way. First 5 under, full game under makes a lot of sense. All right. I'm going to pronounce your name correctly today. Adam Pudvitter. I believe because I butchered it the other day, and he actually put the phonetic pronunciation in there. So shout out to you. Appreciate the donation. Sorry for butchering your name. Love the first name, of course. And he wants to know Reds White Sox under. So Brian, this is one that we kind of nailed 2 nights ago. I feel like we nailed the total handicap on this 2 nights ago. Last night, the opportunities were there. It's just no one could put a run across the plate. It wasn't for lack of opportunities in that game, but there was just a lot of there was no timely hitting, and the game ended up going way under. I believe this was I ruined the parlay well earlier in the day, so we didn't have to worry about that. But yeah, the runs really never came. The final in this one yesterday was 5-0 White Sox, and so now. What do we do today? We've got Andrew Abbott, Davis Martin. Of course, Davis Martin was victim of the rain in his last start. He was washed out after 1 inning. So Reds, White Sox, do you see runs today?
Well, when you're looking at Andrew Abbott, he's pitched much better on the road today. This season, 2.89 ERA. When you take a look at what he's done is compared to home, especially in batting average, 229. But yeah, he's been better on the road. And you take a look at his game logs on the season. He's a league average pitcher. He's sitting there at a 50, and his last 4 starts have been 57, 46, 54, 67. So he's in pretty decent shape here. As you mentioned, they are going against the White Sox here, and he has not played the White Sox this season. I believe this is their first series, or probably only series of the season. But yeah, he's a guy that is a better pitcher than what we normally see, what he gets credit for. We've talked about in the past, his base numbers don't look that great, but he and Martin are two guys that are definitely capable of coming out and pitching a good game. Yeah, I thought yesterday's game was a clear over, and it didn't work out that way. It was ugly. Like I said, I did have an ugly day yesterday. Martin's about a 130 favorite here with a total 8.5, slightly to the under. The White Sox to me are the better team, but you're not getting much value here in this line. The White Sox against the lefties this year, they come in at a 102 WRC plus, very similar to what they do against righties, but over the last month, they're only at a 91 overall. So I'm looking at this one, and I don't see a whole lot of value. I think the White Sox are going to win, but I don't want to lay that number. So I'll be sitting this one out. White Sox continue to survive in this division that as we mentioned, it seems like nobody wants. But yeah, it's a coin flip in this. And you've got the Detroit Tigers, who are a team that clearly has the better situation from a seasonal standpoint, but they no longer have Screwball. So yeah, we'll see what happens.
So I want to make sure I don't I didn't misspeak because the Reds didn't hit it all yesterday. But like what I was saying is the White Sox probably could have put that over on their own. They were 1 for 9 with runners in scoring position, left 8 on base, and still 5 runs on 11 hits. And they squandered quite a few opportunities in that game. They really, the first like 5 or 6 innings, I mean, the White Sox could have had 5 runs early in that game, and they ended up tacking on late. So again, I think, Luis Castillo, 7 innings, 10 strikeouts, a one hitter. He just, that's kind of what that guy does. Every time you're ready to write him off, comes out and looks like vintage Luis Castillo. So he does save the White Sox bullpen a little bit, but like, I guess the way I'm looking at this one, I go right back with an over. I haven't liked the Reds pen all year. I think that they're I think that's one of the lesser bullpen units in the league. While the White Sox do have some arms, I think, yeah, like you probably get Grant Taylor closing this game out if it comes to it. But other than that, I mean, there's still, I don't think this White Sox bullpen is elite either. And, Davis Martin is someone that I tried to bet against over the weekend, but he was out after an inning. Although before he left in that game against the Guardians, they still tagged him for 2 runs. He's not someone that I'm dying to bet on right now. I thought he had as good of a 2 months that he could possibly have, and he's really come back to earth since. So can the Reds generate a little offense off of that? Yeah, I think they probably can. You're looking at an 8.5 right here on the total, which is actually reduced. You can get 8.5 minus 105. And I'm at 9.2 for a total here. So I'm willing to, like I said, we nailed the over in the first game. Yesterday, I felt like the White Sox probably could have gotten it on their own. Maybe even should have if they can get a hit with runners in scoring position. And all of that with Luis Castillo having a dominant performance, I can just about guarantee that Davis Martin is not firing 7 scoreless innings here. So yeah, I'm on the over in this one. I think that's the way to go. All right, let's head back to the chat. I'll talk about this one. Let's see, since it was so Pittsburgh Steelers 13. I was shocked when I purchased Trig's 5% play yesterday to see it was the Nats. As discussed here, their bullpen is so bad. So that's how it played out. If you read the write-up, what I talked about was how much the Nats actually did improve their bullpen in the last couple weeks. Listen, sometimes things don't work out. I pretty much got what I wanted in that game. I thought Jackson Kent would be good. He was. He unfortunately he got in a little bit of trouble, and maybe the Nats manager, who's like I think 10 years younger than me. I mean, he's just a child. I think Butera. One of the things he will get better at in his managerial career as it goes on is managing his pitching staff. I think he's just as much at fault of how he manages that bullpen sometimes. He's put them in a bad spot a couple times. Again, very small criticism. I felt like they probably shouldn't have let Jackson Kent face Pete Crow Armstrong again. The guy's going to probably win an MVP. And, they did. They left him in my opinion, one batter too long. But I get why they did it. They wanted Jake Bird to face the righties, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Point is, Nationals last night, I kind of got what I wanted. They went out and got Jake Bird. They went out and got Giovanni Cruz. I figured they'd have Clayton Beeter at the back end of that game. I thought they might use Brad Lord. Now, once Bird and Cruz didn't pan out and then allowed the game to get out of hand, they were never going to use those other guys. But I think it's like a little bit of a misconception. Like the Nationals bullpen right now is not what it was 2 or 3 weeks ago. Brad Lord was hurt. He's back. Jake Bird wasn't on the team. He's better than any reliever the Nationals had prior to him being on the team, even though he threw a meatball to Bregman last night. Giovanni Cruz. Listen, he was one strike away from getting out of the inning. Sometimes you got to tip the cap. Seiya, picked out his pitch and lined it in for a bases clearing hit. And then Clayton Beeter at the end of games has actually been fantastic. And now the Nationals have figured out that he's their closer. They should have figured this out 3 months ago, in my opinion. It took them too long, but they figured out he's their closer. So I don't really think this bullpen is bad. It's certainly not as bad as it used to be, or it was earlier in the year. As far as today's game is concerned, again, the way the first 2 games of the series played out, it's left some of these guys for today. You haven't seen Lord yet. He's probably, good for, the bridge guy today. Brian, I think you could theoretically see Cavalli, Lord, Beeter in this game. And I people are going to get mad. I kind of like that. I may run it back. I'm going to run it back at least for the parlay. So here's the deal. Someone's like, Trig, give us a client play. Nationals plus 1.5 is going to be my parlay leg. I haven't decided if I'm playing anything for clients yet today, but if I play one, it's probably this, and I will let you know on my free picks page at WagerTalk. So I like the Nationals here. Brian, is today the day the Nationals cover the run line in this series?
Yeah, I anticipated the same thing as you did. Those 3 pitchers would go, as long as they have success. They will be the 3 pitchers they go with, and that's to get them at home in this price range with those 3 going. Yeah, I think that's the way to go here. The Cubs are a great team. They've got Bregman's the hottest player in baseball over the last 7 days.
Incredible.
Yeah, he's up to 26 on the season, on the year, on the player rater for over here at Fangraphs. And who would have thought that? Everybody's thinking, he's having a terrible season. He's done. Well, now he's starting to come around. And I still like the Cubs. I think the Cubs obviously played them the other day against the Dodgers as a $2 dog, and they're a good team. It would not surprise me if the Cubs win the championship. It's for me. I'm probably not getting involved in the game, but I can definitely see why you like Washington in this one. At least for me, from a guy who is looking for value, I think there's value on Washington in this one.
Someone said that's 5 in a row wrong against the Cubs. They're certainly not talking about me, because the prior play against the Cubs for me was Saturday with the Royals, and the Royals won that game outright. So, it's easy to remember. Yesterday, of course, was just wrong. I got the exact pitching matchup that I wanted. It didn't work out, but today's a new day, a new game. Gossman, I think, is a little overvalued. Listen, if you're going to get Cavalli, who's been great, and you're going to get Brad Lord, who, when healthy last year, was the best guy that they could have out of the bullpen in any situation. And then if they can get the ball to Beeter at the end of the game, which he's probably getting it anyway, because I think he kind of needs some work at this point, and you're getting a 1.5, that's not a bad deal. In the current price range, I haven't added it yet. I'd love to see some Cubs money roll in and get another 10 cents. But for the sake of a play for the show, again, it's a smaller slate. I'm too tightening up, Brian. I don't even know if I'll have something on the client play. Mark Lambert says, been fading Cubs too much. Makes 0 sense. Listen, I've played against the Cubs 3 times in the past week. One of those times, Alex Bregman hit a 2-run homer on a 1-2 count off of Louis Varland in a 3-1 game. Should have been a win. On Saturday, I played the Royals. They won the game. And then I played them last night, and I got I don't see what the problem is, like picking a spot against any team in the league. Yes, the Cubs have played good ball. Doesn't mean they're not overvalued. So anyway, that's just my take on it. If you disagree, have fun betting the Cubs. It does not bother me. I hope it's either going to be Nats or pass for me. You guys do you. Brian, do you know where you want to go with the parlay, or should I go back to the chat?
I've already given you my parlay.
It was 2-1. No, it was not 2. It was 2-0, actually. Sorry. It was 2-0 when Bregman hit that homer. It was 3-2 in extras. Getting fired up. So that game still bothers me. Anyway, continue, Brian. Go ahead.
I'd already given my part of the parlay. That was the Cleveland under 4.
Okay.
Plus 100 in the first 5. I will say I understand the reasoning with the Cubs because Washington's only 27-42 against winning teams. But if you take a look, and this is season-to-date data, the run differential, Washington's the 6th best team in the National League. I know they traded away some guys, but still, if you're looking at value, there's no value in playing the Cubs here. But regardless of what side you play, I wish everybody the best of luck.
Yeah, and the Cubs are. I mean, they're insanely hot right now. Like, just give them that. I mean, Bregman yesterday, that was incredible. He's walking up to the plate right now like he's Babe Ruth. I mean, just 3 homer. I think he homered in consecutive at bats too. I think he hit 3 bombs and 3 straight at bats. The guy's just incredibly locked in. Same thing with PCA. I mean, like that is, I guess, probably, the best sort of counter to like, hey, don't do it, is like there are just guys in that lineup that are ultra locked in right now. And you very well may have the MVP of the league in Pete Crow Armstrong on that team. So, all right, let's move it along. Alex Rand says, morning, fellas. Can we talk Pirates and Marlins? He says, is CC Grant's dad. Yeah, let's get this one going. Pirates, Marlins. This is a day game. I'm a little disappointed in myself here because I feel like we talked about this 2 days ago. I feel like we laid out very nicely, Brian, the writing on the wall with this Pirates team and just, the offense starting to fade, some of the injuries they've had, Esmeralda Valdez being ice cold. And I couldn't bring myself to bet the Marlins either of the last 2 days. And of course, it was back-to-back pretty comfortable wins for the Marlins, especially yesterday when they win 8-2. Now we get the finale here. This is going to be Braxton Ashcraft, Tyler Phillips. Do the Marlins pull off the sweep, or do you like the Pirates in this spot?
Well, let's see how Ashcraft has done on the road compared to home. Roughly about the same. He's got about a 4-run ERA both places. You take a look at his advanced stats, very, very much the same. From a game log with Braxton Ashcraft, he's a 54 on the season, solid pitcher. But his last 5 starts, there's only been one of those above that 54 game score. That was when he played in Cincinnati. He went 5 innings, gave up 1 run, had a 60 game score, but his other ones were 41, 51, 4, and 35. I've talked about when he goes on the road, there seems to be a lot of overs. And some of that is from his pitching, but it's also, for some reason, Pittsburgh hits well when he pitches. From the Miami standpoint here, we've got a team in Miami that we do like the hitters on this team. And we're going with Phillips, who I think is, to me, is the weakest out of their starters. We're looking at Ashcraft about a 118 favorite here with a total of 8. The Pittsburgh bullpen, all their better bullpen arms are available in this one. Let's take a quick look at Miami in that regard. Miami's a team that I really like some of the pitchers on this team, but you take a look at their bullpen. Fairbanks is actually pitching very well now. He's only pitched twice this week. Last time was on Tuesday. So their bullpen is looking pretty well also. So normally when I would look at probably an over with Ashcraft on the mound there, 8 makes sense here because both bullpens are in full shape here. Yeah, you would think Pittsburgh would bounce back here a little bit, but I don't know if I want to lay them as the favorites. So I could see Pittsburgh, but I'm not going to get there. I'm going to be passing on this one.
Yeah, I'm ultimately gonna pass as well, though. It's tough to first of all, I think this is priced appropriately. For me, it's one of those things where it's like I didn't play the Marlins the last 2 days in what I consider to be better spots. So why would I come out and play the Marlins here? That being said, Marlins team total is only 3.5, and it's like -110. My biggest issue with Ashcraft, and this is something I talked about on this show like 2 months ago, I was like, he is getting away with he throws way too much that's out over the plate. Brought it up a couple of different times, and guess what? He's not really getting away with it anymore. He's had some. You look at his last month's worth of starts, and he's gotten punished for leaving the ball out over the plate. And I think that's I don't know. I think that's something. If you look at his he's given up a ton of hard hit. Like it tracks a little bit, right? Because he's got really good stuff. And so if he can get you in a count and he can get you, off balance and maybe guessing a little bit, he's still getting a very high whiff rate. He's a good strikeout pitcher, great strikeout pitcher, relative to the rest of the league and where he's at in his career, probably only gets better, but he's almost so in the zone that it's to his detriment sometimes. Mm-hmm. Guy never throws a ball. So he'll get you to swing when he gets ahead in the count, and he's gonna throw that curveball, and he can throw it, where you have to you're sitting there and you're like, is it going to be 99 or is it going to be an 84-mile-an-hour curveball? He's got the upper hand. But there's been times where guys have been able to sit on his fastball this year, and then it gets roped somewhere. And these last month or so, he's paid for it. That's why you see the crooked numbers, because he's given up bombs. 3.5 runs for the Marlins. I mean, one homer with a guy on base, and suddenly you've got the whole game to get another run or two off the Pirates bullpen. So I'll say Marlins team total over. I think that's a little low at 3.5.
I agree. I didn't notice that earlier. Normally you would see a line of 8, and it's basically a flat 8. And with the favorites only about a 118 favorite, you would expect a couple of 4s. For that being 3.5 and -110, I see 6 or 7 books right now, and they're either -110 or minus 115 on the over. If you can get -110, just from a mathematical standpoint, you would think that that's probably a pretty good bet, because the line should probably be closer to 4, and to not lay more than basic juice. Yeah, I'm with you. If I played this game, I would agree with you. Over 3.5 and -110 in a game lined at 8, and it's basically a pick 'em. So yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Offhand, do you know how many times Braxton Ashcraft has given up 0 earned runs in a game this year?
I could look it up, but no, I don't know that.
One time all year, one start where he's given up 0 earned runs. It was back on May 3rd, and it was against the Reds, who are who have been one of the worst teams against right-handed pitching all season long. Other than that, he's given up at least 1 earned run in every single start this season. And over the last month, it's been 4-1, 4-7, 5-1, 5. A lot of crooked numbers in there. You get 2, even let's say Ashcraft goes out and has a quality start, 3 runs over 6 innings, and you're going to give me 3 innings or so to scratch 1 more across off the Pirates bullpen. Kind of makes sense. So I'll say Marlins over 3.5 is a good play. R. Reynolds is on. Yeah. Hey, we need to rack up those Marlins wins. because that 980 to make the playoffs is what I'm going to need to wash out all my other futures at this point. So we need that. We need them to keep winning games, which they've had 4 wins in a row. So hey, they've been as streaky as it gets. They'll win for a month, they'll lose 12 in a row. Now they're winning again. All right, let's see. One more game. Let's get one more in. Max Brengel says, thinking of laying money on the Yanks today. Money line. What do you guys think? I was complaining. I feel like I've been doing a lot of that these days, complaining to Brian off camera. Man, I really wish I came around on where the Yankees were from a price standpoint the last couple of days, because Brian laid out this great handicap on the Yankees on Tuesday. I said, man, I don't really want to lay minus 130, kind of the way I felt yesterday. And here the Yankees are kind of doing what I said they were going to do. Eventually they were going to hit. They've improved their lineup. They went out. I love the moves they made at the trade deadline. And now if you've just played the Yankees the last few days, really the last week or so, you've been doing well. They took 2 of 3 from the Braves. I think there were actually a couple nice underdog prices in that series, Yankees, Braves. And now they've come out and bested the Mariners in the first 2 games of this series. So we're looking at 4 of their last 5 now. Yankees have won. Brian, do they pull off the sweep against Seattle this afternoon?
Yeah, yesterday when we talked about this game, we mentioned that Josh Naylor was injured. He came back and played last night. From the Seattle side, you got Logan Gilbert, who's now up to 16th in the power ranking for pitching this year. We've had some concerns and earlier on, but no, he's been very good all season long. Munoz has not pitched since Saturday, so they're in a pretty good situation from the bullpen standpoint. For the Yankees, situation for the Yankees is they're struggled all season long in hitting. Maybe they're coming out of it right now. They haven't gotten a couple of big bats back, but they should be back pretty soon. Judge is still a while away, but it sounds like he will make it back before the season ends, so that'll be good. As long as he's back for the playoffs and they're in the playoffs, that's really what they're shooting for. The thing with the Yankees is they're better pitchers the last couple of days. They had to use them. They had to use Hedrick each of the last 2 days, and in fact, they had to use 5 of their top 6 relievers yesterday. So the Seattle bullpen is in a slightly better situation here. We're looking at the game. We're looking at Gilbert and Fried being the lefty. Fried is about a 137 favorite, total of 7.5. I think a slight value here on Gilbert in Seattle. I know Seattle has not done much lately, but I would rate Gilbert and Fried very similar, and I would give the Yankees, maybe 115 on the home. So that leaves me 20 cents more here. And you got a Seattle team that the bullpen, I think, is going to be a little bit better today. So slight lean with Seattle. The line's a little too high to me. It shouldn't be in the 135, 145 range. It should be probably 130. And there's no 130s out there. So slight advantage for the dog. In fact, I can catch a 130 out there coming back on Seattle now. So lean with Seattle, probably won't make my card.
Yeah, I same way for me, just based on the price right there. I have this closer. I had this closer to a pick. I think so. Like, for example, like we were talking about the price on the last 2 games. I kind of think like, okay, so you're basically being asked to pay something similar that you would have paid the last 2 nights on the Yankees. Actually, in this case, slightly more. I think the last couple nights at different points in time, you could have got like maybe minus 127, minus 128. Brian, I think when you gave this out in the parlay on Tuesday, it was like minus 128 or something like that. So now you're like roughly 10 cents higher, yet you're going to have to go against Logan Gilbert and a rested Seattle bullpen. That doesn't feel like, it's like, I look at that and I say, okay, the Yankees are in like a worse situation than they were the last couple days. So if I didn't bet them the last 2 days, I'm certainly not going to take them here. And then it's like, I watched the Tacoma game on Tuesday. Carlos Vargas threw, I believe, his second rehab outing. So if you're looking long-term with the Mariners bullpen, he's probably back relatively soon, which means they probably have even more bullpen. I don't know if he's coming back this weekend, so on and so forth. The point is, fresh bullpen, Logan Gilbert. It seems like a good enough, if you will. If you're looking for a good underdog price today, plus 125, plus like 130. I think 130. I don't know if you have any 130s out there, but that's not a bad bet, all things considered. And Mariners, man, they desperately need to salvage one here too. I'm not sure that matters. Like, they need to win, doesn't really matter, but they may be going a little all out in terms of the way this game is managed to try to steal one here, because as bad as they've been, they're still very much in the mix in their division. So huge game for them, and plus price, Logan Gilbert, that seems the way to go for sure. All right, we have reached the finish line. Someone asked, so I will give Brian an opportunity to tell you what he has in a second. Vinny says, hey, is NFL on your plays? So if you have all access is one of the things that we offer. You would get the NFL plays. I have a NFL preseason package on my page right now that will go off, that'll be pulled down as soon as my first play kicks off, which will be at some point in the next 3 days. Have not locked anything in yet because, as I was talking about on the show previously, I kind of wait till the market does something, and a lot of times I'm playing back. So usually I'm betting the day of the game. That's great for you as a bettor, because we're not going to play something that the line is going to be long gone by kickoff. So NFL Week 1 starts tonight. The games are tonight, tomorrow, and Saturday. I can guarantee you that I will bet something in that 3-day window. And once I do, and it kicks off, that preseason special package is getting pulled down. It's currently on my page. So you would either need that or some form of all access to get the NFL plays tonight, tomorrow, and Saturday. That's all I have to promote. I don't even know if I'm going to play a Major League Baseball game today. Brian, you've been killing it the last, 365 days really at this point. What can the people find on your page?
Well, since you tuned in today and I came off a losing day yesterday, I've given you the only game that I'm thinking about using. That's the Cleveland first half under. You can play under 4 at plus 100, or you can lay the 135 under 4.5. That's up to you. I'm going to play the 4 and save on the juice. That's probably going to be a 3% play for me. And that's probably going to be either the only play I give to clients today, or at least the biggest play. So I'll save everybody the $25 it would have cost them to play it. And I may put in a 2% play or something smaller. But if you're looking for the two guys today, if Trig has something big, you'll use him and you'll use TB. And hopefully we can get a little of that back that we lost yesterday. So I just do not love the card today, to be totally honest with you.
And since I'm going to be sort of pushing my NFL stuff throughout the day, that's what I'm going to promote. Any Major League Baseball I play today, which again, I can't promise I'll play something, but there's a couple of things that I'm looking at. I'm posting it for free. So make sure this is something you should do every day because all of the WagerTalk handicappers participate in the free picks tab on our page. A great spot to promo the free pick tab on the WagerTalk website. You go to the WagerTalk homepage, click on free picks, and anyone that has a free pickup on their page, it lists them out nicely in order. So that's where you'll be able to find my Major League Baseball today. Anything I play MLB is going there. I will note if it's a client play or not. As of right now, my strongest lean and what I'm going to use for the parlay is Nationals plus 1.5. Brian, what was the juice on that Nats minus 1 plus 1.5? I forget.
Washington is plus 1.5, minus 132.
Yeah, we'll call it minus 135. Just to be fair. Guardians Tigers under 4 was what?
Plus 100.
Plus 100. Yeah, and that's kind of, I'm kind of going to see how minus 132 is actually pretty reasonable. I think I kind of had it in my head. If I could get it down to like 130, somewhere in the 125, 130 range. I may jump in with that. So that is going to be my leg of the parlay. Nats plus 1.5 minus 135. Brian is going to go Guardians, Tigers, first 5 under 4. First 5 under 4. And that also, did you say a 3% client play for you?
It'll be a 3% client play for me, yes.
So you got a nice early day game, 3% client play from Brian. That is our 2-teamer. That is our show for today. Tokyo Brandon will be back in Tokyo tomorrow and therefore back on our show. So the 3 of us will see you at 9 a.m. Eastern. Let's have a great day. Don't forget NFL preseason package on my page. We'll see you guys tomorrow.